everybody, it's the Worm, and I'm back with Steins. Now we are actually going to be starting the episode proper. I'm not sure if you all noticed, but I released a little extra episode before this one. And it's just a little something I decided to do. Well, I originally thought it would be just the beginning of this episode, but it kind of, the length of it eventually made me decide to just make it its own thing. So, if you're interested in me just trying to straighten out some of the confusion I've been having, you can go ahead and watch that. Otherwise, we're going to actually move on with the episode right now. So, before I do, I want to talk about the brief scene that happened in the middle of last episode, because it feels very important to me, even if I don't really know exactly what the implications are yet. So, it appears that Ferris, of all people, seems to have developed a kind of reading Steiner. Now, what does that mean? I have no idea. I mean, so reading Steiner has been such a mysterious concept so far. And so, we have no idea how it works. And so to suddenly have another person be able to use it, or be affected by it, it felt somewhat abrupt to me. And it feels strange too, because it really felt like this was something that made Okabe unique. You know, going back to Suzuha with the whole Be Our Messiah, that whole thing. And now suddenly, someone else has this ability. So that raises a lot of questions. Is it, if it's not a specific person that has it, then maybe it's a specific circumstance that leads someone to develop it. So what happened with... What happened between both Okabe and Ferris that led to this ability? I'm not sure, and nothing pops out to me. But I mean, that's kind of, well, that's one of the things I can think of right now, that maybe there's something that both of them did, or something had happened to them that allowed them to develop this, but I don't know. In Okabe's case, we know he sent the first D-mail ever. At least, the first D-mail, at least from his perspective. Or at least for this world line. It's a bit, it's not entirely clear, but as far as we know. We know Ferris has sent a D-mail herself. We know Moeka sent a D-mail, but I'm not sure if she's developed anything like that. We haven't actually... Well, outside of Moeka, you know, doing her thing and attacking us, we've not really spoken to her casually much, so if she's developed reading Steiner, we haven't heard about it yet. So I don't know. I don't know if it's sending a D-mail or not, or if there's something else to that. But yeah. Of course, part of the tragedy here is her recalling her previous, or the previous world line is going to be what allows us to reverse that D-mail she sent. And of course, the reason why that's tragic is because she used that D-mail to rescue her father. Well, we don't know the particular circumstances, but yeah. And I mentioned this at the end of last time, but of course, I'm fully expecting that they're going to try to make him as sympathetic as possible, just to make it all the more painful when we decide to, well, I mean, would you count this as killing someone? we're technically moving to another world line. A world line where he had died earlier. So I'm not sure if you consider that, because I get confused sometimes about, multiple timelines, multiple world lines, whether they still exist or not. If the world lines still exist, then technically we're just moving from one world line to another, and the one world line where he's still alive should be around. But I've heard conflicting things, so maybe not. Maybe it's just erased. So, yeah, I don't know. And here's another question I have. So, Feyre seems to have gotten reading Steiner. However, up until that point, she had the memories of the previous 10 years where her father was alive, right? So, has her memory combined, the memory that she had from the world line where her father died, plus the memory of this world line where her father's alive? Because that has not happened with Okabe. Okabe has, at least we've been in his perspective, and from our perspective, from Okabe's perspective, he's had the same consciousness since the very first world line we were in, which was the one where, Dr. Nakabachi had a conference, that whole thing. So, and yet every time Reading Steiner has activated, it's not like he's gained. He maintains the same set of memories. He doesn't get more added to him. And yet, at least in this particular instance, Feyre's, at least it seems to me, we haven't gotten into specifics, but at least from the start here, it seems that she has two sets of memories here. Anyway, I don't know. It's still a bit early, and I really hope we get some more information on it, because this feels like it's pretty big for another person to manifest this ability. All right, let's go ahead and start this thing, shall we?
そうです。あなたは熱心なレトロ PC 収集家とかねてより聞いていました。何かご存知ではありませんか?
So the first line was from Feyre's dad. He said,
ほう、IBN 5100か。
So you're looking for an IBN 5100. Then Okabe says, That's right. I heard you were an enthusiastic retro PC collector. Do you know anything about it? I ended up eating dinner at Feyre's apartment. Feyre's father was extremely grateful to me and invited me up. I would have been okay with just borrowing the shower, but he even prepared a change of clothing for me. And he even told me I could stay since it's still too dangerous to go outside. During the meal, I try asking about the IBN 5100, ignoring the pain I still feel throughout my body.
君のような若者が IBN 5100を知っているとは珍しいね。
Yeah, Okabe did get a bit of a beating from Shido last time. It's quite unusual for a man your age to know about the IBN 5100. He smiles when I bring up his hobby of collecting old PCs.
確かに私も持っていたよ。今は手放してしまったが。
I did have one. I gave it away though. Okay, this is important. If you'll recall, we learned from Lukako's dad that the IBN was donated to the shrine, and we know that Feyre's family was the one that they were the ones that donated it. So, and also, we talked about this in the extra episode I put out. In the one time, or the one email that we sent that where Lukako was changed to a girl, and the IBN disappeared from our lab. That was the one where we sent the message to the 90s to Lukako's mom, her pager. In that particular world line, the IBN did disappear from the lab, but the story stayed the same. The IBN was still donated to the shrine. It's just Lukaku's dad didn't know what happened to it, other than it just disappeared. So that must have happened more than 10 years ago when it was donated, if Favors is telling us the story.
手放した
You gave it away?
ああ、やむにやまれぬ事情でね。
Yes, I had a compelling reason. He glances at his daughter. Favors keeps eating her meal silently.
柳林神社に奉納したのですか
Did you donate it to Yanabayashi Shrine?
奉納？いや、違うよ。
To a shrine? No. Okay, so this is different from what we know. No. All the strength drains from my body. Were my efforts for nothing?
私に IBN5100 を託してくれた橋田さんには申し訳ないことをしてしまったと思っている。
Oh! I don't think Hashida-san, who entrusted the IBN 5100 to me, could ever forgive me for what I did. Okay. This was something else I mentioned in the extra episode. I was really thinking that Suzuha had to have done something, right? This is Suzuha we're talking about, aren't we? I was thinking she had to have done something more, because it felt like she didn't really do anything, even with her memories when she went back.
橋田って橋田鈴ですか
Hashida? As in Hashida Suzu? Suzu. Oof. Favors' dad nods. Wow. Okay. Suzuha's pseudonym. My pulse rises instantly upon hearing that name. She did it. She found an IBN 5100. She brought it to Akiba. She completed her mission. Tears well up in my eyes. I bite them back.
昔の話になるがね、まだ私の会社が今ほど大きくない頃の話だ。
This is an old story. A story from before my company got as big as it is.
ルミホが誘拐されたんだ。犯人はとんでもない額の身代金を要求してきてね。
Rumiho was kidnapped. Kidnapper demanded an unthinkable ransom.
あるいは会社を抵当に入れればなんとかなったかもしれない。
Maybe I should have mortgaged the company instead.
そんな時、渡りに船とばかりに IBN5100 を高額で買い取りたいという人物が現れてね。
But at that moment, someone appeared, like a godsend, offering a large sum of money to buy my IBN 5100.
それを売り渡すことで、ルミホを助けるための身代金を用意することができたんだよ。
I sold it, which gave me enough to prepare Rumiho's ransom. Sorry, don't know why that caused me some difficulty. So, what are we thinking? Are we thinking that Suzuha donated it to the shrine? Because we know that Lukaku's dad was told specifically, if a young man asks for it, give it to him. So that's so specific that it has to be a time traveler that said it, right? So was that Suzuha then?
パパ、その話はやめるにゃ。
Let's not talk about that. For some reason, Faris' face turns red with embarrassment. If I had to say, her dad seems really happy to tell this story. Not something you'd expect from a kidnapping story.
その歌相手というのは
So, who was the buyer?
フランスの実業家だね。今でも連絡は取れると思う。なんだったら教えようか。
Oh, wait. So wait, the buyer was a French businessman. Oh, I see. I misunderstood. Okay, so Suzu gave the IBN to him specifically, and then he sold it to someone else. I see. Okay, I misunderstood. A French businessman, I believe. I think I still have his contact information. Would you like it? I politely decline the offer. Really? There's no way the IBN 5100 will arrive from France in time. And I doubt we could afford to pay for it anyway. Well, even if you can't get it, wouldn't it be good to at least have more information? I don't know. That too, that makes sense. Plus, there's a high possibility the buyer is related to CERN, or to the Rounders. Especially since it went to Europe, right? I clench my fist, then open it again. Why won't you return to me, IBN 5100? It's well past midnight and I'm still awake. My body hurts too much to sleep. And then there's the question eating at my mind. What should I do? How can I cancel the D-mail that saved Ferris's father? My encounter with the man himself has given birth to unnecessary internal conflict. I'm about to steal Ferris's father away from her. Of course, this... If Ferris has developed reading Steiner, that makes it all the worse. Because if she actually remembers... You know, say we undo the previous D-mail and we're in a new world line where her father's dead. If she is reading Steiner now, then she's going to remember that. And so... Yeah. I'm about to steal Ferris's father away from her. I need to do it to save Mayuri. But does that give me the right to play God? I hear a knock and then the door opens.
今日も
フェイリスか。まだ寝てなかったのか。
Oh, Ferris. Still awake?
入っていい？
May I come in? Huh? Normally, Ferris would have added a nya to the end of that question. Without waiting for my answer, Ferris steps inside. Then she sits next to me on the bed. She's not wearing her cat ears.
さっきはありがとう。
Thanks for earlier.
バイラル一味に追いかけられた時、私すごく怖かった。
When the viral gang started chasing me, I was really scared. Does she have a fever or something? I've also just noticed that Okabe seems to just be sleeping with in the same clothes from earlier. Why is she talking normally? She usually pretends to be a cat girl. Does this mean she's not using her Ferris persona right now? Is this the real Akiha Rumiho? It's actually refreshing to hear Ferris talk normally like this. It excites me for some reason. Like she's showing me a side of herself that no one has ever seen.
初めてだったよ。大勢の人たちからあんな黒い感情をぶつけられたこと。
That was the first time I ever felt such black emotion from a huge crowd of people.
黒にやたらこだわる連中だったからな。
Yeah, those guys were obsessed with black. She slaps me on the knee lightly.
もう真面目に話してるのに。
Come on, I'm trying to be serious. What? Even her retort is normal. The person sitting in front of me isn't a cat-eared maid, and she isn't a Rhinet champion. She's just a normal girl.
傷痛む？
Does it still hurt?
いや、大丈夫だ。
No, I'm fine.
今日も、岡部さんがいなかったらどうなっていたか想像するだけでゾッとする。
Kyoma, Okabe-san. I don't know what would have happened if you hadn't been there. I shiver just thinking about it.
言い直すな。いつも通りの呼び方でいい。
Don't correct yourself like that. Just call me what you usually do. Feyre sighs.
とにかく京馬には感謝してもしきれない。本当にありがとう。
Anyway, Kyoma, I can't thank you enough. Thank you, honestly.
京馬はね、私の王子様だよ。
You know, Kyoma, you're my prince. Prince? What's with the fairy tale talk? He's giving me goosebumps. This calls for Hoing Kyoma.
俺は王子様ではない。狂気のマッドサイエンティストで。
I am not a prince. I am an insane mad scientist and... Before I finish, Feyre throws herself on top of me. She wraps her arms around me tightly.
フェイリス。
ルミホって呼んでほしいな。
I want you to call me Rumiho.
いや、フェイリスはフェイリスだろ。
No. Feyris is Feyris, remember? This is bad. What should I do? What does Feyris want?
ねえ、もう終わりにしようと思うの。
Hey, I think it's time to end this.
京馬はどうせ過去に戻ればまたやり直せるのに、私を命がけで助けてくれた。
You went back in time and risked your life to save me.
だから京馬の望むことを私も叶えてあげたいって思う。
So, I want to grant your wish too.
だが。
Swallow the rest of my words. Granting my wish would mean erasing her father's existence. My heart aches. It was like this with Suzuha, too. I erased everything that Suzuha had shared with us in 2010, including her memories of meeting her father. I did it for the sake of my personal goal, to save my Yuri. Must I once again sacrifice someone else's dream?
あれは私の8歳の誕生日の時。
It was on my 8th birthday. Still clinging to me, Feyris looks down and begins her story.
私はパパにその日だけはお仕事をお休みして一緒に遊びに行こうってお願いしてたんだ。
I wanted Papa to take a break from work so he could spend time with me.
当時はまだパパの会社は大きくなくて、パパは毎日朝から晩までずっと働き続けてたから、私はちっともパパに会えなかったの。
Papa's company wasn't as big back then, so he worked every day, from morning to night. I never got to see him.
パパと過ごせる一日が私が一番欲しかったプレゼントだった。
The present I wanted most was for him to spend one whole day with me.
パパは約束してくれたよ。その日は何があってもきっと一緒に過ごそうって。
And Papa promised. He promised he'd spend the entire day with me no matter what.
でも
But
やっぱり急な仕事の予定が入って前日になって約束は破られちゃったの。
something came up, and he had to break his promise the day before.
ひょっとしてパパは私のこと愛してくれてないんじゃないかってすごく不安になっちゃって。
I was so afraid that Papa didn't really love me.
だからね、私誕生日当日に家出したの。パパに心配してもらいたくて。
So on my birthday, I ran away from home. I wanted to make Papa worry. Feyris pauses here for a time. Then she looks up at me and continues with tears in her eyes.
その日パパの乗った飛行機が着陸に失敗したんだ。
The plane Papa was on made a bad landing.
死者は一人だけで他の乗客はみんな無事だったんだけどね。
Only one person died in the accident. Everyone else was unharmed. Don't tell me.
その一人がパパだった。
The one casualty was Papa. That was before the world line changed.
信じられなかった。こんなにも世界は私に冷たい運命を押し付けるのかって。
I couldn't believe the world would be so cruel to me.
パパなんかもう知らない。死んじゃえばいいんだって。
I hate you, Papa. You should just die.
それがパパにかけた最後の言葉になっちゃった。
Those were the last words I ever said to him.
そんな言葉で私とパパの関係は永遠に閉ざされちゃったんだ。
And that's how our relationship ended, forever. I can hear the tears in her voice.
大好きだったのにどうして最後にあんなこと言っちゃったのかなってずっと心の中にパパへの罪悪感があって。
I loved him, so why? Why did I say those things to him? I always felt guilty because of what I said.
ずっと思ってた。タイムマシンがあればいいのに。
I always wished I could go back in time, change what happened. Then, did fate guide us to each other?
だからね、京馬がタイムマシンの話をしているときに、これは神様か仏様か運命様が私に与えてくれたチャンスなんだって思ったの。
When I heard you talking about your time machine, I thought I was being given a chance from God, Buddha, fate, or something else.
フェイリス、ルミホ、今日はもう話さなくていい。
Feiris, Rumiho. That's enough for today. You don't have to say anything more.
最後まで言わせて。
No, let me finish. Feiris doesn't let go of me. She sniffles and wipes away her tears, putting on a smile.
私はもう満足したから。さっきパパが助けに来てくれて、私のこととっても大切に思ってくれてるって分かったから。
I'm okay now. Papa came to save me, so I know how much he really loves me.
このちょっとだけのご褒美はもう十分楽しんだから。
I really enjoyed having this time to spend with him. It was like a gift to us from heaven.
だから変えた過去は元に戻さなきゃ。
Now you need to change things back to the way they were.
だが
But
今日マユシーはね、私にとっても友達なんだよ。そのマユシーに危機が迫ってるなら、私も京馬と同じようにする。ね。
Mayushi's a very important friend to me. If Mayushi's in danger, I'll do anything to save her.
すまない。
I'm sorry.
言ったでしょ。今のこの現実は現実じゃなくてご褒美なの。
Weren't you listening? This current reality isn't reality at all, but rather a gift to my father and me.
それとも夢って言うべきかな。もともとパパはこの時代にはいなかった。元に戻すだけ。
Or maybe I should call it a dream. Papa doesn't belong in this time. You're just turning things back to normal.
夢を見させてくれてありがとう、京馬。
Thank you for letting me have this dream, Kyoma.
本当にそれでいいんだな。
Are you really okay with that? Ferris buries her face into my chest.
本当はちっとも良くないよ。
Actually, I'm not okay at all.
私世界が変わる前のこと思い出したけど、でも
I remember how things were before the world changed.
世界が変わった後のことも 全部覚えてるんだよ。
But I also remember how everything was after the world changed, you know? This was something we also talked about. It's interesting how this is different than how Okabe perceives things. It seems that in Feyris's case, she has both, as she just said, she's both sets of memories. Well, so far, Okabe has only ever retained the one set of memories. He never seems to get the new set each time.
私の記憶、今すごくパニック中なの。
I'm actually kind of freaking out right now.
変わる前と変わる後とがごちゃ混ぜになって、どっちが本当なのかわからなくなっちゃいそうで。
What happened before the change and after the change are all mixed up in my head. I don't know which one is real anymore.
でもこれ以上わがまま言ったら京馬が悲しむでしょ。
But if I try to fight it, it'll just make you sad, won't it?
京馬が悲しむ顔は見たくないから。だって私の王子様だもん。
I don't want to make you sad. You're my prince after all.
だがもしかすればお前もパパさんを失わずマユリも死なない、そういう世界があるかもしれないんだ。それを探す努力をもっと。
We can do something. There might be a world where you don't lose your dad and Mayuri doesn't die. If we try.
いいの、もういいの。
It's okay. I've accepted it.
私はもう逃げたくないから。
I don't want to run away anymore. There's nothing I can say to that. So instead, I tightly embrace her slender body.
ありがとう。
Thank you.
ねえ、ちょっとだけ泣いていいかな。過去を元に戻す前にパパのために泣いてもいいかな。
Hey, is it okay if I cry a little before we change things back? Is it okay if I cry for Papa? She's already crying, but I don't say anything. Instead, I silently nod. Varys's body trembles with emotion as I hold her. Her father is sleeping in the room next door, so she probably doesn't want him to hear. She cries into my chest, muffling her sobs. Oh boy, that was pretty tough. But I mean, you have to give points for Varys there. I mean, that's kind of going above and beyond the call to action. Not only she understands what needs to be done, but then essentially gives us her blessing to do it. Yeah, that's tough. And of course, we had to have Okabe give the wishful thinking of maybe we could just find a world where both her dad and Mayuri live. But if there's one thing you can say about Okabe, it's when he gets into moments like these. It was mentioned not too long ago here how it was the same with Suzuha. Where yes, he has this sort of overarching goal to save Mayuri, but he really feels for the people around him. And I think that's part of... There are things about Okabe that I don't really like, but it's things like that that make it clear that he's... I'm glad he's the protagonist in those moments. I think. I think that's how I'll say it for now. Okay. Let's move on. It's almost noon. I feel dizzy. It's like my brain is rusty. My whole body is heavy with fatigue. The pain from my wounds has subsided, thankfully. But in the end, I couldn't sleep a wink. I promised Ferris that we'd commence the operation at noon. Until then, we wait at Ferris's apartment. I've already contacted Daru and the others back at the lab. I told them we'd be performing an experiment today.
今日も
フェイリス
I can see the traces of tears on her face. The sight makes my heart ache.
今からパパに最後のご挨拶をしてくるにゃ。
I'll go say my last goodbyes to Papa now. Oh? Her usual speaking habits returned the second she donned her cat ears. What a nifty piece of equipment.
しばらくパパと二人きりにさせてもらうにゃ。
Let me be alone with Papa for a while. Maybe I should say wait. Maybe I should say sorry. But I say nothing to Ferris's back as she heads to her father's study. By the time Ferris finishes her farewells with her father and comes out of the study, the phone wave named subject to changes settings are already complete. I contact Daru at the lab and make sure the Braun Tube Workshop's 42-inch CRT is turned on. Now, all we have to do is send the D-mail. But I hesitate. Instead of meeting Ferris's eyes, which have turned red from so much crying, I look down at my feet. Eternal separation from the father that she loves so dearly. I wonder what Ferris is thinking now.
今日まそんな顔しちゃダメだにゃ。今日まは何にも悪いことしてないにゃ。
Don't be like that, Kyoma. You've done nothing wrong.
だが
But
にゃんにゃー。もうその話はおしまいにゃ。
no more talking.
わかった
Okay. I can't stay sad when Ferris is trying to cheer me up. I steel myself for what I need to do. Yesterday, just before she left the room, Ferris told me the contents of the first email she sent. 100 mil for your kid. Take the train. That mail stopped her father from getting on the airplane. As a result, he didn't die. But that wasn't the only effect it had on the timeline. Her father needed to sell the IBM 5100 to prepare the 100 million yen ransom. As a result, Ferris never donated the IBM 5100 to Yanabayashi's shrine. With her father alive, Ferris didn't participate in Akihabara's city development conferences. Otaku-oriented businesses never took root in Akiba. May Queen plus Neon Squared never opened. Ferris wasn't as busy, which allowed her to join the Rhinet tournament circuit. In other words, this Worldline's Ferris has a normal life. On the Worldline I came from, Ferris was not only a student, but also the heir to her father's company, an influential member of Akihabara's development board, and a part-time maid waitress. Which life is better for her? Which will give her greater happiness? That's not my decision. It's hers. And her decision is to return to the way things were. I'm just here to help her wake up from this dream. Ferris has already entered the cancellation D-mail. JK on ransom. I love you, Papa. See you soon. These are Ferris's true last words to her father.
ちなみに世界が元に戻ったら フェイリスの今の記憶も全部なくなっちゃうのかにゃ。
When we change things back, will my memories of this world disappear? That is a very good question, Ferris, and I have no idea.
そんなことはあるものか。きっと覚えてるさ。
Of course not. You'll remember.
なぜならお前は今、過去を変える前と変えた後、両方の記憶を持っているだろう。
You have memories from both worlds right now, don't you?
だからあんなに必死にフェイリスを助けてくれたのかにゃ。
Is that why you were so desperate to help Ferris?
それは、解釈は自由だ。
That's open to your interpretation. I feel my cheeks get warm, so I hang my head to hide my face.
フェイリスはキョーマとの時間を忘れたくないにゃ。
Ferris doesn't want to forget her time with Kyoma.
ありがと
Thank you. I take Ferris's phone. Sorry, Ferris, I lied to you. What? Is this a choice? What is the choice exactly? I guess we'll... In light about what? The memories thing? Huh. Okay. Wait. You know what this probably is? I'm wondering if this might be a similar thing with the Suzuha ending, where the choice here, in one instance we go to an ending, and then the other instance we continue the main story. That's what this feels like to me right now. If that is the case, and I'm not sure that's the case, but if that's the case, which one would... I feel like sending the email would continue the main story, but I feel like not sending the email would give us an ending. What should I do? Should I just go with my gut here? I'm gonna go with my gut here for a moment. Let's see what happens. When we change things back to the way they were, your memories of this world line will almost certainly disappear. Perhaps another miracle will happen and you'll regain your memories of this world line too, but I can't be sure. There are no guarantees. So I will engrave these memories onto my heart. The memory of Ferris, the Rhinet champion. The memory of her father who gave thanks to a stranger like me for protecting his daughter. I will carry them for you, always.
それじゃあバイバイパパ。
Now then. Bye-bye, Papa. It must be done. For Mayuri's sake. I must erase Ferris's memories just like I did Suzuha's. There's no other way. I give Ferris her phone back.
キョーマ
No.
俺はまだ夢を終わらせたくはない。
I won't let this dream end yet. Don't jump to conclusions. We should explore other methods. After all, her father's life hangs in the balance.
別の方法を試してみよ
Let's try another way.
う。お前のパパさんを殺せないよ。
Can't kill your papa.
今日もごめんにゃ。
I'm sorry.
フェイリスが迷わせちゃったにゃ。
Iris led you astray.
いや、いいんだ。俺が決めたことだ。
No, it's okay. This is my decision. I don't have what it takes to be a god. That burden is too much for me to bear. Okay, before doing anything, there's something I want to get to real quick. Okay, here it is. That mail stopped her father from getting on the airplane. As a result, he didn't die, but that wasn't the only effect it had. Her father needed to sell the IBM 5100 to prepare a 100 million yen ransom. As a result, Feyris never donated the IBM 5100 to Yanabayashi Shrine with her father alive. Okay, so this is the crucial part here. As a result, Feyris never donated the IBM 5100 to Yanabayashi Shrine. Okay, I get that. But didn't the IBN disappear in the D-mail previous D-mail to this? I thought that the D-mail or the IBN disappeared on the D-mail that caused Lukako to change into a girl. I thought I went back to check, and I remember we went to Yanabayashi Shrine, and we talked to Lukaku's dad, and he said that it was donated to the shrine, but it seemed to be gone, and he doesn't remember where it went. I guess that's partially why we need to do it in this order, because reversing this D-mail isn't going to be enough, right? So reversing this D-mail should make sure that it gets donated to the shrine, but we also need to reverse the Lukako D-mail because, for whatever reason, at some point after it gets donated, it disappears from the shrine. At least I think I have that right. I hope I have that right. Otherwise, I'm going to be very confused. Which isn't really a surprise, actually, since I tend to get confused pretty easily. Okay, I think I'm gonna call it here for today. A bit of a shorter episode, but if I'm timing it right, I'll probably be releasing 2 episodes in one day, so I feel like a little shorter episode is okay. As I said previously, I feel like we might be doing a separate ending right now, so I feel like it's okay to stop now. And then next time, again, if I have this right, and if it's similar to the Suzuha's ending, then we will go ahead and do this ending, and then next time, the time after that, we will go back and continue the main story. At least that's what it feels like to me right now. I guess we'll find out. Yeah. Oh man, Feyris. You know, I've actually kind of been wanting something like that scene where in the bedroom for a while now, where she takes off the cat ears and actually speaks to us as Akiha Rumiho. That got me a bit. That was a tough scene to get through. Yeah. And it makes me feel bad for it makes me feel bad for not going through with the plan, because she worked herself up to say goodbye, and then we kind of just took that away from her in a way. I don't know. I guess I just wanted to see if my guess was correct. Which I suppose we'll find out next time. In any case, I've been the Worm. This has been Steins Gate. I hope you're doing all right, and I hope to see you next time. Bye-bye.